brings us into the office every week. This orchestra have become one of the great utopian societies. This, to me, is a lesson from young people, which we older people in the office get every week of the year.
What I really found remarkable is their listening. They are so interacting with each other, and that is the key to great music making. I am conducting the EUYO the same way I would conduct any orchestra on this planet, because they are already really extremely professional.
I regard it as a kind of miracle that these young players come together, many of them for the first time, and within a matter of weeks, they are playing as one.
What makes my job so worthwhile is the extraordinary passion, dynamism, commitment, hunger to play that characterizes the European Union Youth Orchestra.
EUYO is a very special orchestra. It contained the best and the most talented young musicians of European Union. For me, it is a great opportunity to help them to develop their talents, to explain them some of the things which are expected in the professional life for them, and to grow together with them. This is a great example how so many young and gifted individuals can work together to coordinate a great team and to make a great team. This is a great example for Europe, how we all can work together and progress together.
They were asking the other day, are you nervous to come on and play Mahler's Fifth Symphony? Answer, no. We can't wait to get back onto the stage. And that is what makes this orchestra so special.
Everything is possible with this orchestra. They show that classical music has a future, and they are the future of classical music.
The European Union Youth Orchestra was founded by unanimous vote of the European Parliament in 1976. But actually, there are a small number of individuals who really began it, a woman called Joy Breyer. And she, together with her husband Lionel, they are the co-founders of the orchestra. And they found one of the great musicians of the beginning of the 21st century, Claudio Abbado, and he became the founding music director of the orchestra. After Claudio, there was a succession of amazing conductors, legends like Herbert von Karajan, Leonard Bernstein and Daniel Barenboim. But there were in particular two great musicians who, like Abbado, were really central to the whole project. The Dutch conductor Bernard Haitink, who was the orchestra's music director from 1994 until 2000, and who is now conductor laureate, and the Russian pianist and conductor Vladimir Ashkenazy, who worked with the EUYO for many years and who was music director from 2000 to 2015, when Vasily Petrenko became chief conductor. Bernard and Vladimir, both generous in giving their time to the orchestra, were committed and really remarkable presences during those years.
I started in the Concertgebouw in 1982, and I believe they were already there with Claudio Abbado. They gave many concerts here, with Claudio, with Bernard, with Wojciechowski, and every time I had an opportunity as the director of this concert hall to program the EUYO, I did.
As someone from the European Commission has said, the orchestra has developed, it has grown, it has become modern and innovative throughout these years. In essence, it is still the same vision. It's the vision that its founders had in the 1970s. It connects people. It connects people through passions, through music.
For me, it encompasses everything that the European Union stands for. It's cultural diversity, it's multilingualism, and it's a lot of work on Europe's future, which is important for the young generation. And so the European Union Youth Orchestra perfectly represents what the European Union wants to accomplish.
I think the really important thing about EUYO is that it's one of the few institutions that we have that gives us a chance to experience Europe, and that allows the audience to actually have an emotional response to Europe. And that is what I like most about EUYO, that it's Europe alive.
I think it represents the very best that Europe has to offer, not only artistically, but also politically, but more important, as human beings. The message it sends out to all of us Europeans. The most beautiful music performed in the best halls in Europe.
And it represents all the things, the cultural things, the artistic things that people in Europe have in common.
They're the values of respect, they're the value of tolerance, they're the value of respect for human rights, respect for the rule of law. They sound, in a way, they sound very remote from music, but they're not, because they are about the kind of society these kind of modern Europeans want to live in. And I think there is something about the generation that these players represent that is a generation of extraordinary hope for Europe. And I think that bringing them together in an orchestra of this quality could not happen at a better and more important time than this. But there is something about doing it in this way, with young people who don't have a history of the Cold War, they don't have a history of all the political difficulties of the last 50 years. They are just young Europeans. That is their identity.
And then, obviously, when they then come back to their country of origin, they can also give this message and this competence that they have acquired back to their national systems.
People speak about the diversity based upon origin. I think it's the diversity based upon youth. There's a sense of adventure that you hear, and I think that sense of adventure has nothing to do with origin. I think Europe as a whole has a similar background and feeling, and I think it melds itself in this orchestra in an extraordinary way.
Only through meeting, talking, travelling together, playing across the world stage and representing, not just playing in Europe, but playing all over the world. Because obviously the Europe's represented in America, South America, China, they've been on so many different tours. But it's that relational aspect, it's breaking down those boundaries, breaking down the myths, the superstitions, and only in that way can you really create that international peace and harmony. And culture and the arts is something that really does promote peace and understanding through the rest of the world.
This is an orchestra that stands for something particular. It's an ambassador. It's a metaphor for the advantages of working together.
I have seen young people come into the orchestra, secure in their instrument, but personality-wise insecure, possibly with not great English or not great communicative verbal skills. And in their 3, 4, 5 years within the orchestra, I've seen them blossom and grow into fully rounded human beings, if you like, performers, that have then gone out into the industry themselves and have started to change the industry.
I think many of the players in EUYO come from, let's call it, home backgrounds where they may be the most excellent person around and they're quite used to that star quality. And then they join an orchestra where everybody's like that. You're not only going to have this amazing musical experience, you're going to have a wonderful human experience as well.
Most of us here want to have an orchestral job in the future, and I think this is the best place to understand what it will be and to really learn how to be an orchestral musician, how to follow everything, how to understand the conductor, how to understand your principal, how to understand all the other sections, how to listen. And I don't think there's a better place than a youth orchestra, especially EUYO, to learn that. I found the freedom to not be afraid of really showing who I am. But it's not only about who I am, it's about who we are.
Our alumni, thousands of players who've been through the orchestra since the late 1970s, and who you will find as the backbone of many of Europe and the world's greatest orchestras.
I would say the orchestra was extremely instrumental, first of all, in me choosing a career in music, and second of all, having achieved what I have done, the enthusiasm, the energy, the idealism, the striving for perfection, and the incredible excitement of working with, the world's top conductors. looking back in hindsight, it feels like we were pioneers. This was so powerful in knocking down barriers. There were people sharing desks whose grandfathers probably fought against each other in the war. That was such a moving experience for us, and we were very conscious of that at the time. We became much better musicians, of course, but more importantly, so much more tolerant.
Playing in the orchestra helped me open up a lot. I started speaking English, not just listening and understanding. I got to know so many people from everywhere in Europe, so I got friends in different countries, friendships which I still keep, which I still have. When I'm on tour now with different orchestras, there's always somebody somewhere who I meet and who is part of that old family.
The first time I came to EUYO, I was 17, and I was the youngest member of the orchestra. And it really helped me develop in many areas of life. And all these connections really help you realizing what could be the best path for you.
First tour I did with the European Union Youth Orchestra was in 2015. I was looking to expand my horizons. I cannot think of any more enriching experience I've had compared to EUYO as on the same level. It's quite amazing, really.
I've not only learned about music, how to play better, how to play in an orchestra, and how to listen more, but also how to socialize, how to deal with people with different cultures and backgrounds. It's just so inspiring.
This is a huge input for us to develop our musical abilities and then go on to a professional career as musicians. It always gives you some input from different conductors, from the different people that forms the orchestra, and it just makes you grow very fast.
So I would advise anyone who loves music and who feels passionate about all that European Union stands for to audition for EUYO, because it's truly a life-changing experience.
I was always very conscious that it was difficult to get in, it was very competitive, and I completely understand why, because from the moment that I arrived, you see the hunger and the drive and the passion that everyone has to be here, to be ambassadors for the places from which they've all come, to represent the EU and themselves as highly as possible, and most of all, to make unbelievable music with each other.
We want the audition experience to be a learning experience. Some people get in on their 4th or 5th attempt, but we actually passionately believe that everybody should come back and audition again, come back and audition again. Don't take a rejection as a failure, take it as part of the process. It goes without saying that we're looking for somebody who can really play their instrument, but actually more than that. We are looking for somebody who communicates their musicianship through their instrument. We look for positive spirit, and to find that common spirit amongst diverse, talented students is just inspirational. It moves all of us to tears on a regular basis, and in a world that is very troubled, gives hope.
We're trying to create one of the world's greatest orchestras, not just greatest orchestras of young players, but greatest orchestras. We're trying to work at how do you reach as many people as possible in the age and the society that we live in. All our future projects, the vision is to say how wide, how broad, how deep can the experience of our audience be. We live in a world that's got an extraordinary depth of challenges. And it makes me feel that now, more than ever, there is a need for orchestras like this. To see young people working together positively with extraordinary energy and aiming always for excellence in order to communicate that we are a metaphor for society. And the metaphor is this: how can we be better at listening to each other? This is the European Union Youth Orchestra.